Oh, snap!
Snappity, snappy, snappy, snappy. We are back
Once again,
with a bang.
again, as usual.
Yeah, guys. Single men go back consistent. Okay, should I say, no many? Nah, I've been really trying to be consistent.
Yeah, I was about to say you should speak for yourself.
Yes,
yeah.
But we are back. I think the most important thing is the fact that we are back. Yes, otherwise, my name is Mrs. T. Ndombi, and
someone's just introducing herself at the back.
Yes.
Apparently, she's forgotten.
Look at her.
She's forgotten as a member of this podcast.
Otherwise, my name is Domi Toto. That is Zuri Toto.
And I am Sipo Toto.
Yes. And this is the Or Snap podcast where we speak about uncomfortable conversations that makes your fingers snap.
Yeah, so we speak about anything that makes your finger snap, whether it's something that is not norm to speak about or a bit uncomfortable, but hey man, it's societal issues that affect all of us, and we try to just share, man. And also we have our own shareholder CEO Zuri, say something, Zuri. Say something controversial, Zuri.
Controversial? Yeah. So yeah, don't you want to go sit there? This is not about you.
Because I kind of feel like you guys are going to focus here.
Yes, you're going to focus here, not... you're going to focus here, not focus about us.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, shut up about that.
Otherwise, it is the festive, so it's very...
Yeah.
Hence,
yeah, and she's also going through chickenpox season. A post week and stuff. So
we've been quarantined.
We've been quarantined.
Quarantine. Back to COVID, but we've been Zuri's got us with chickenpox.
Yes,
and so we've been inside for the last 8 days.
Togetherness. Otherwise, guys, I hope you guys are okay. You guys are good. And everything. So what is the topic for today?
Our topic today is speaking about being intentional. About everything.
About everything. I was about to say that. In all spheres, like, just be intentional. So when this topic comes to mind, what comes to mind, Baba, when you hear this, be intentional?
I think for me, what comes to mind when being intentional, it's making a decision and finding a plan on how to apply the decision we want to apply. I think, we as people, we want to do a lot. And if we could do half the things that we want to do, we could actually see ourselves progressing, because we definitely want to do a lot. But I think there's also that thing of we don't have a plan on how we can be consistent or how we can actually start. And I think most of the time we are just not intentional. We are not planning to do that. And I think we're speaking about this topic not because we are perfect people, but I think also when we started just having a conversation, we found that we have so many ideas on how we can improve ourselves, but there's just no plan. We are not intentional. We don't push for it. Or if we do push for it, to be consistent is just a challenge.
Yes.
What do you think?
For me, what comes to being intentional, it comes to being honest. It comes honesty and everything. The president of this house. Yes. It comes to being honest, being intentional. It comes with also like having conversations that you don't really want to have. With yourself, because sometimes you have to call out yourself that actually I'm not being an intentional wife. Actually, I'm not being intentional regarding my own career. I'm not being intentional regarding to my own character, or I'm not being an intentional mother and stuff. And for me, when you say being intentional in all spheres, the word that comes into mind is being honest with yourself.
Yeah, because I think, in a way, I think sometimes, it's good to be honest with ourselves, that it's good for us to acknowledge to yourself that I'm lazy. That's the reason I'm not reading. That's the reason I'm not studying. That's the reason I'm not pursuing for that. I'm lazy, And I think at the same time, it's also good to say, I'm not doing this thing because I'm not in the right space of mind.
Yes.
Because, at times we have so much that we want to achieve, but we are not in the right space of mind.
Yes.
Or at times we don't have the resources of what we want to achieve, And at times we find ourselves easy torturing ourselves,
and being too hard,
being
on,
hard on
ourselves
ourselves,
as well.
And then when you look around, if we're not honest, that no, the reason I'm not achieving this thing is because I didn't have the resources, or I do not have enough information, or I do not even have support to do that. Then I think once we start to get to that point of being honest, then we can just come up with a plan on how we're going to move.
I actually like that what you just said, that sometimes like mentally we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Like you're not at that season yet, and I think it's very important for you to understand which season you're at. Ungati summer and you want things as a winter, like that doesn't make sense. Be intentional for summer and show up in summer. Be intentional in winter and show up in winter, So for me, let me first start like with career wise, being intentional with your careers. Sometimes I think we forget to be intentional, let's say with your own careers, or it could be anything, because you're listening to what other people are saying. For example, I could say that I want my daughter to be an accountant, but intentionally she doesn't want that, So I think also when it comes to being intentional, listen to your inner voice, listen to what your heart wants, listen to what your passion wants, and push through that. Because I feel like being intentional also comes with the heart. When you're intentional, you do something wholeheartedly. Like if I want to be an intentional wife, diyenza inhliziyo yami yonke, I don't do it half-heartedly. And if you're not going to do something intentionally, suyenza, don't do it at all. If you want to read books intentionally and you're going to go half-hearted, don't do it. Do it full force. Like that's how I feel. Career-wise, character-wise, like anything that you would like to start. It's even like if you want to start with gym. Like I know that sometimes I fall off the wagon. I would start consistently and everything, but intentionally, like I'm not fully there, and that's why sometimes we stop other things, because actually intentionally we were not there.
And also I think also what's also important, I think the things that we want to do most of the time, we don't want to do them. We just seeing other people doing them.
And then we jump on that.
Then whilst we're inside it, you find land. It's just that I just saw an influencer speaking about it. I just saw a friend speaking about it. I just saw it in a movie. Oh, it's something that's trending. So namdi zoyenza, but I don't even like this thing. But you don't want to be honest about that, because if we can honestly, like if business knows achieve most of the time, they are not our dreams.
They're not
we
our
ambition.
From other people.
Yeah, we're about to see sibona nje kusenza iqomba. Yeah, I'm in the gym. But how like nyanza gym and thing, like you don't have that thing.
Or the understanding why gymming.
So he's got health issues. That's the reason they're training. Or like wants to lose weight. That's what they are trying to do. Or is because maybe they're just trying, like
the mental
health to be in a better space, So when you're seeing that, you're like, hey, let me also do it. Inside of it, you don't love this thing. You're going to back out. It's like being in a relationship. Being in a relationship, when the hard moments come, like it's two people, different personalities. When the arguments come, when the disagreement comes, you don't just pack up your things and go.
Yes.
Because you love the person. You love what you are building. You understand what you are building with the person. So I'll be come with it.
So be it.
For your ice cream, but you try to find ways of, okay, let me sacrifice some way. Let's speak, because you love being in there. I think it's also the same thing that we most of the time we give up on things and we are hard on ourselves. But let's be honest, as we are not passionate about that thing. Passionate now. So I think we should be intentional. We should be honest about the things, because if you want something,
you go for it.
You're going to stick with it. Why? Because you love it. Why? Because you know exactly where you want it to end. Because so it's like for me, I'm not gonna give up on my marriage. Why? Because I understand what I want in my marriage. But someone else looking at me trying to alinganisem, they can give up because abanayo this vigor that I have. They don't know what's pushing me to hold. Wow. They don't know what's exactly. They don't know what's holding me to what's pushing me to hold on. But now when I'm also imitating the other person, so do you know, bruh? Like if you thought like baninzi abantu abaqala businesses, baziyeke within a space of phela unyaka, because it was never their business. Cha bayikope komnye umuntu aqomba, hayi ndingayenza betere laa nto yenziwa ngubani.
The intention was not there.
Yes, yeah, but forgetting that person not gonna give up because passion yakhe uyayithanda laa nto. Wena uyakopa okanye wena unomono okanye wena nje ufuna wenze competition unnecessary, and we waste time by doing those things.
Yeah, we waste time. I think also another word that comes into mind when we speak about intention, being intentional, it also comes with commitment.
Yeah.
Being commitment, like since you're speaking about like marriage and stuff, like when you love someone, it is a commitment. When you're married to someone, it's a commitment. I feel like also being intentional with things, it's a commitment. Like for example, I want to make reading a habit. I want to be intentional about reading. I want to make time to read. That's being intentional. Not just speak. I feel like we speak a lot, but we do less. No, I'm going to be intentional in showing up in my marriage. Speak. But when it comes to being committed to the actions, I think it's lacking. And I feel like as we're ending off the year, can we also just try or even with us to be intentional? If, for example, like I would like to read more books, may I be intentional? You know, I've been singing that song the whole year that I want to finish. So like how many books? But I haven't done it because I wasn't being intentional about it. And as a person, like sit down with yourself and have a one-on-one and say, but I'm not taking this with in 2024. Commitment needs to come. You know, being intentional comes with being honest and also being with commitment.
Yeah, for me also it's also the part of you know, I think so much like for me it's like just do it for yourself.
Yes.
Like just pursue things for yourself. You know, I think with you know social media can be a lot.
It can be a lot.
Social media can confuse us.
And you want everything in the world.
And I think we've allowed for people who are influencers to be our gods.
And be our dictators.
We can't blame them when but nathi ngoku we are no longer pursuing us, we are pursuing them. Yeah, but like sometimes ingathi asina identity.
We have an identity crisis.
Like we are always looking what other people are doing and then we also do it. Like I'm also speaking about myself, you know, like we're always like so jonge, hey, what's trending? Oh, I have to do that. You know, it's like for me it's gonna be easier to be intentional ngento oyikhethileyo wena oyithandayo wena. And I think, you know, I think it's some high time that now we can start just being loyal to our own dreams.
Yes, let's be loyal to our own
ambitions, you know, and maybe not even tell people that we are pursuing those things.
And just do it.
Yeah, but who's hold their accountable. Give yourself a time frame. But by 3 months' time, you know, there's this book,
Atomic
Habits. Atomic Habits, you know, it teaches this thing of how to create a habit, you know, and it speaks about this thing of do it for 21 days, and after that's gonna come naturally. Yeah, but also reward yourself, because you are training yourself, you know. So let's say if you love ice cream, you know, you deny yourself that up until for 5 days you become consistent with life. Then after that you reward yourself. You continue. It creates a spirit of I'm only going to do something and achieve 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I'm only going to eat ice cream after I finish 2 chapters. If I finish 2 chapters in 6 months' time, I will eat ice cream after 6 months.
I will eat.
Hey man. You know,
I will reward myself.
Yeah, but it teaches how to create a habit, you know, that singabantu siyayithanda a reward. So the reward now, okay, after I do this thing for 2 weeks, I'm gonna go out. If I've not done it for 2 weeks, I'm not going out.
Yes.
Yeah, but just
put yourself also in the naughty corner.
Yeah, but put people away. But I think just choose our own dreams, choose our ambitions. You know, sometimes sometimes when you listen to people, I always ask myself, is it you who's speaking or is it someone else? Like say, lack of original at times. We lack identity. We lack our own views. Say hotspot on about
it's a hotspot.
Yeah, but and see even a creativity on fast, but hey, my creativity ayikho ndiyakopa qha like
copy and paste,
and that's the reason we have so many businesses that look alike. Siyakopa qha, there's no originality, and I'm also guilty of that.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's high time we block out the noise and being intentional, like truly with ourselves. Listen to the inner voice. What are you called for? Like if God has called you for, let's say being a teacher, go be intentional about it. Like show up for yourself. So hotspot like people's other careers or dreams. If fully you really want that, do it. Like block out the noise as we're ending of the year. Block out the noise and put yourself first and fix this. Because I feel like if you fix the heart, you'll be at the right place. If your heart is at the right place, you'll be intentional. If you want to lose weight, if you want to be intentional about health, you will go to the gym. If you want to fix infertility, fix your heart. Show up for yourself and put yourself first. What's wrong?
Intentional.
Yeah, being intentional. Being intentional. So hey, time flies, guys. I feel like whenever we speak to you guys, like time just flies. I was going to ask maybe can you name 2 things that you've been intentional with this year, or if not, that you would like to be intentional with? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I do have them, but I want to keep them to myself.
Okay, I like that.
And then just do them, Okay. I'm trying to get to a point of less talking
and more doing. And more doing.
I will write them down though.
Yeah.
And I will hold myself accountable. But I will share maybe after 3 months, like izintoni ezibendifuna uzenza and ngabe ndizenzile like I'll be honest. Let's say February.
Okay, and then are there things that you were intentional this year?
Yeah, there were a lot of things I was intentional with this year, but I could say I was not consistent. So kind of be successful. Also been successful ngalo, Okay. Simply because
yes, life happens.
Yeah, but you are on your own boat and then you jump to other people's boats. You help other people. You help about those libele when you help. They progress about they move.
And then when you are sink.
Yeah, but not that it's wrong to help other people. It's not wrong, but we should also prioritize now. And I think I was also guilty of that. When
yeah. Now I'm going to speak for us. Ziva, I feel like I'll just name 1 or 2. I feel like we're very intentional about on how we want to parent, and I like that. And I feel like we've been on track with that. Like we spoke about even before we had kids, but I like the fact when we had to implement, we're on the right track. And when we were falling off the wagon, it was easy to communicate about it, but I think we should do this and this and that and that. So I actually really like that we were committed about it and being intentional about it, no matter what happens. No bumdana is sick whatsoever, and I really like that. And that same energy, I want to put it like in other things, like even individually, the same energy that I don't need to be reminded. It just happens like instincts. It just happens just like that, So that's one thing I'm really thankful for as we are ending the year. May it continue, and may we be intentional as the year is coming to an end. I don't know who we're speaking to or who needs to hear this, but if you've been like playing it small, Mandicho, with yourself, it could be in friendships, it could be character-wise, it could be gym, it could be career-wise, it could be anything that you want to be like intentional with. It could be spending time with God or whatsoever. Write it down. And Habakkuk chapter 2 says, write down the vision and God will run with it. Also speak to God and say that I really want to be intentional in reading your word. I really want to be intentional spending time with you. help me. I really struggle with this. But I also like when you spoke about atomic habits. Let's try to being intentional. May it also come with being like a habit.
Yeah. And I think, of late there's been some sad news, people, like young people who are passing away, And, someone said, the problem with us as human, we think that those guys who we say they are young, we think they knew that
they were going to die.
They were going to die. That was their last day. We think we knew. They think, they also didn't know, like in the Vuka Kusasa, it's just, like, honestly, it's not because Alami Khalid and then Savuka. It's just another, blessing, And I think as another blessing, what we should do, is that let's operate as if we don't have time.
Yes.
Because we're operating as if we have time. Yeah. We don't have time, not as in a way of scaring, but if we need to forgive, let's do it now.
Yes.
If we need to have certain conversation with certain people, let's have them now. If we need to start something, let's start it now. Must peel with this urgency, but I don't have time.
You don't have time.
Because we're behaving as people that have time. And when you see someone young passing away, you're like,
I could have done this. I could have done this. I could have showed up this way. I could have,
I think it's Edwin Bauer who says, the place that is rich, that is wealthy in the world, it's graves, because it has so many dreams.
That's deep.
That's the wealthiest, richest. There's so many people who died with their ideas, and if they implemented those ideas, they could have been billionaires. There were so many people who died they could have been great fathers.
Yes.
But they didn't give it all. Their all. They could have been great mothers. They didn't give their all. There's so many people who died with their talents. We didn't even see them. Because I have time. So I think that must play an agency of being intentional.
We don't have much time.
We don't have time.
I feel like, oh snap, we snapping at it. You
didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see that one coming, and it's also giving me a motivation. Otherwise, happy Sabbath.
Yep, happy festive season.
Happy festive season. Happy festive season, and be merry
Man. Whatever you're going through, it's temporary.
Yeah,
I'm gonna overcome it.
We're gonna overcome it, and in 2024 it's gonna be lit and being intentional.
We're gonna restore everything that we have lost. That's what God wants to say this Sabbath. Restoring.
Say bye, Zuri. Bye. Oh, snap.
Snapping at every topic that makes your fingers
snap.
Chicken box.